Thanks for clicking on this video, guys. It's a long time since we've done a car review, but with the launch of the 308, I felt now was a good time to restart. I think it's the most significant car launch since Peugeot, since 2017 when they launched the Peugeot 308, and we all know how much of a success that has been. I've expressed a few opinions in this video, but they are my opinions, they're not that of anybody else's. If I get in trouble with Peugeot Ireland or Peugeot in Europe, this video will be deleted quicker than you can click refresh. Ladies and gentlemen, the Peugeot 308 and Ben Bulben. Unlike other brands, Peugeot are giving you the power of choice. The Peugeot 308 is available in a petrol, it's available in a diesel, a hybrid, and in 2024 it will be available in full electric. I've been driving the hybrid for the last month. It's 180 brake horsepower, finished in the beautiful olivine green, this one. It's also available in 225 brake horsepower. The petrol comes at 130 brake horsepower, 1.2 petrol, and the diesel a 1.5, 130 brake horsepower. All drivetrains now come with an automatic gearbox as standard. There is no manual available in the Peugeot 308. As I said at the start of the video, I feel it's one of the more significant launches Peugeot have made in the last few years. In 2017, the 308 and the 588 brought them out of the dark ages and launched them into the SUV market. But now Peugeot is going up market. They want to compete with the better brands up there. They've made things just that little bit more modern. They've changed their badge. Even on this GT model, it's on the side of the car, but it does look really good, and it's bringing us up market and into a new generation of Peugeot. With the launch of the new branding last year, this is the first car released by Peugeot to carry it. It comes with a new distinct grille, and we had a sneak peek of the new models coming in the future as well, and they're all going to look like this. What's clever about this here as well, it hides a lot of technology behind it for your active braking, your active cruise control. So this is actually looking out at the road in front of you. I think this is pretty cool as well. It has the 308 on the front, so basically sitting proud on the front of the car that you own your Peugeot 308. Also, the distinct feature with Peugeot, of course, is the fang lights in the front. They're LED. A lot of new Peugeots come with these now, and it's very distinctive when you see them coming towards you. The next thing I do then as well, look at my rear view mirror, see as it got my number plate on it, see that I sell it. You can't help but think they've thought of everything in the new 308. With CO2 emissions, a big thing now in the motor industry, that all the manufacturers are trying to keep it lower. They've actually made the alloy wheels aerodynamic. When they're aerodynamic, it keeps the drag down, which basically keeps the CO2 emissions down. This is the GT version. It's more pronounced on that, but it's also available on the Allure models and the Active model. This is pretty cool too, the new Peugeot emblem right in the middle of every alloy wheel. There's some really vibrant colours available in the 308, including this avatar blue and the SW. To make all these colours stand out, you have the black tinted windows in the rear of the car, you have the black mirror caps, and you have the black tail fin as well, to really make the colours pop. Both 308s, both the hatchback and the SW, I think are two of the best rear ends in the car trade at the minute. All of the distinctive features now with the 3 claws from the lion mark, the new emblem of course as well, the nicely hidden boot switch on the back. If you're any way enthused at all about cars, in the last 5 years you'll notice the prominence of Peugeot on the roads with the LED fangs. The launch of the 388, the 588, you had the 208, the 288, the 508, the Rifter and the Partner. They've all come on stream, and now you have the 308 and a few more models to come. Now I'll go out on a limb here and I'll tell you, if you buy a 308 off me and you don't think, or you can convince me that there's a better car on the market out there in a hatchback, I'll give you your money back. I'll give you a full refund. The car is that good. You drive a hybrid one of these, I guarantee you, you'll never buy a diesel car again. So we moved to the interior of the car. As the tide was coming in, we said we better go and do a little bit more work. This is where the 308 really takes off, and you find out what type of a car it is. Again, going with the upmarket, the quality and feel of the car is definitely a lot better than the older 308, a lot better than a lot of other things on the road. With the iCockpit as well, until you drive other cars and then you get back into a Peugeot, you see the advantage of it. So basically with the iCockpit, you actually look over the steering wheel at the dash. And it actually makes sense. Until you drive a car that you look back through the steering wheel, you can think, yeah, that actually makes sense, and it is a little bit better. You're sitting a little bit higher up in the car, but all the information you have You're not stooping down underneath to see what it is. It's just all here in front of you, in front of the windscreen. As mentioned, there's 3 drivetrains available: petrol, diesel, but my choice would definitely be the hybrid. This one is 180 brake horsepower and it's one of the best cars I've ever drove. Once you drive a hybrid, I don't think you'll go back to a diesel or a petrol. Just the capabilities of it are endless. This is a plug-in hybrid. So basically it's a 7.5 kilowatt or 7.4 kilowatt battery. It will do 60 kilometers on the full battery load. But you have the option with the hybrid to drive it in an electric, or you have the option to drive it in petrol and hybrid. If you're doing short runs in the electric mode, it's just as good as an electric car. You don't use any fuel at all. My commute to work is 14 kilometers into town for lunch and back out. I could drive a whole day without using any petrol, and I still have the benefits of not buying an electric car. And if I want to go on the long journeys, I still have the engine to back me up. Just to recap, some of the most important things in the hybrid is just to recalibrate yourself. Have your car charged in the morning. If you're going on a long journey, always use it in hybrid rather than just using the electricity for the first 60 kilometers. But also underneath the D, you have the battery power. There is for your regeneration and regenerating the electricity every time you go down a hill or every time you hit the brake. The car is recharging the battery itself. I'm now here in the 308 SW GT and we're going to go through some of the technology in the car. As I said at the very start of the video, the Peugeot 308 is now only coming with a automatic gearbox. It's an 8-speed automatic gearbox and it's the same throughout the drivetrains, the petrol, the diesel and the hybrid. Our cameraman Kieran drives a 508 GT and he likes his Apple CarPlay, but he has to plug it in every time he sits into the car. Now I know other manufacturers have this a while, but we now have wireless Apple CarPlay, which is an absolute godsend every time you sit into your car. So all your apps are available right on the screen, available to use without using the clunky wires that you can plug in everywhere in your car. As mentioned everywhere, Peugeot now use the iCockpit in all their cars. I'd like to think this is the 4th generation. It was launched in the 308 and the 508. The 208 was a little bit better, 208 a little bit better than that, along with the 508. Now we have this. The actual the materials or whatever they use seem to be a little bit better, so everything feels nice and easier to use. It's nice and swiped just like the iPhone, nice and easy to use across the whole car. You have your new iToggle buttons here now as well. They're interchangeable. So I have my Apple CarPlay here. When it's plugged in, we have our sat nav, we have our climate control, and we have our media where we want to go. And you still have your piano keys underneath here as well. A lot of the new features on the car, on all new cars, are you have to have your breakdown assistance and you have to have your emergency response on these buttons. They're all there. But one other thing you need to have is your lane assist. So it's basically like autonomous driving, and features that basically help you drive more safely on the road. One of the nice features that I like is you can knock off the lane assist by adding it to your advanced driver assistance system, knocking it off nice and easy, and click and confirm every time you sit into the car. It's a nice little shortcut to it and adds to the benefits of the car. One of my pet hates about cars these days with the touchscreen is what happened to all the dials years ago. You used to have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 to decide how much air you want to come into the car. Then you had blue or red to decide what heat did you want in the car. But thankfully they've changed now. You don't keep have to pressing your button up to get the controls up and get to the desired temperature. You can now just scroll your finger up and down to get the desired temperature you want and slide across to get how much air you want into the car. Still not the dials, but at least you're going back that way and making it that little bit easier. You don't have to keep pressing the button every now and again to get to the temperature or the speed of the fan that you want. So that's a nice little touch that's added to the car. Going back to your phone, you have your wireless charging underneath your dash, so you can keep your phone in there and it's charging all the time. If you don't have the capabilities of that. You have plenty of USB ports with one in the front, one in the glove box, which is very clever because you can plug it in here. There's a little cubby hole here. It comes out here and you can rest your phone there, so it's charging. You can keep everything closed. There's also a few USBs in the back to keep all the utensils like PS3s or whatever handheld device you have charged for the kids. The other features that I love as well is you have obviously cruise control in a lot of cars these days, but in the 308 you have actually active cruise control. So when you're in the car and you're driving down a dual carriageway, the car will ask you, do you want to proceed at this speed? You can click OK. You click OK, it pulls in the car that's way up the road and keeps you at the safe distance to that car in front, and will pull you along. It will actually brake when they brake, and it keeps it nice and safe on the road for you. Let's go to the iCockpit then. You have a couple of different options that you can use in here. This is the diesel version, so it wouldn't have as much as the hybrid would, and of course it's the GT, so it's in 3D. But the button on the end of the stalk here, you can change and configure whichever way you want to look at your dash. If you want your dials, if you want your digital display, if you want your sat nav in on your dash, which is really good when you're looking over the steering wheel and you're looking for somewhere, let's just say in Dublin with a postcode. You don't have to look at the big screen just off to your left. Everything is in front of you here in the GT, and you have plenty of options. There's also customizable dash. So when you go into the dash here, you can set up your what would you call it? It is your profile. So you can set up a profile for Kevin, and you can say that I want to see sat nav, I want to see my battery charging if you're in the hybrid, I want Apple CarPlay at my fingertips, and you can individualize the car to what you want to see on your home screen in the dash. I have a 508 PSE. It's probably the third time I mentioned that in this video. It is for sale, so someone please buy it. I can't wait to get that sold so I can go now and get my 308 hybrid SW GT. That's my next car. Just to finish up and finalise, I hope I got across that I'm actually very enthused by the 308, and I definitely would buy one. The offer still stands. If you buy one, especially a hybrid, and you find a car out there that's better on the market and you can convince me that it is, I'll give you a full refund on your 308. It's that good of a purchase, I don't think you'll be sorry. The diesel version of this starts at €37,500, up to the hybrid, up to maybe around 45 to 47,000 euro. If you buy one of these, it's going to be a good investment, you're going to enjoy it, and you're going to come back and buy another one, I guarantee you that. So give us a call if you're interested in a 308 for a test drive. 071 915 4442.